I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and the last of the Harry Potter reviews that Granger B wanted me to do. He sent a generous donation to my PayPal. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. If anyone wants to send in requests, either you can send it directly via my PayPal or join my Patreon. It could be a review, a movie topic, or whatever else. Both of those links, PayPal and Patreon, will be down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, thank you so much. Now, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. The end. The end of all of it. I think they did these things called Fantastic Beats. I don't know jack about them. He just wanted me to do the 8. And before I go on to the movie, I will say that the franchise was better than I remember it being, was better than I thought. But man, I do think these movies do have a problem with pacing. I think even the ones I liked, so many of them are like 2 hours and 40, 2 hours and 30. I think some of them, there's some editing that could be done. I really do. I don't think all the stuff that they put in there they didn't fucking need. And again, some of the stuff that they bring up and then I don't remember them coming back to. Like the Phoenix birds or the spiders or the one where they can actually go back through fucking time. You would think or the half eagle, half horse or some of these other creatures, you think they'd come to fruition in this, the final bout. No. Whatever. But, there's some, I would say of the 8, there's probably 3 I didn't like. Half-Blood Prince, I think it's the most boring, worthless one. Chamber of Secrets and Deathly Hallows Part 1, wasn't really a fan of as well. This one, at least it's a culmination, at least it's a finale. It definitely went at a faster pace. At times it did feel like one big battle, which there's good and bad. The good, something was happening. The bad, important characters got killed off screen. Like David Thewlis, who's an important character in Prisoner of Azkaban, he got killed off screen. And then you just see his body after the fact. So stuff like that would, or okay, Helena Bonham Carter. This is the bitch that killed Harry's godfather, someone he was close to, and then helped kill Dobby the house elf in the previous film. Okay, who's going to take her out? Ron Weasley's mom? The mom? Really? I mean, I would have preferred Harry doing it. There's no rule that he can only fight Voldemort. He could have taken care of her as well. I think that would have been a nice gear up to fighting Voldemort. But Ron Weasley's mom? Really? Okay. I like that there were reflections to the first movie, which is probably still my favorite, is the first movie. Order of the Phoenix and Prisoner of Azkaban's close. To see me with the Goblin, who first showed him the vault in the first movie. You have John Hurt, who's in a little bit of the last movie, but more so here. He was in the first movie. He's the guy who says the wand chooses the owner. I like the bit when they're going into Helena Bonham Carter's vault and there's a trap, so all this stuff is duplicating and multiplying, and they have to get to it before they get overcome and suffocate with all these trinkets duplicating. I thought that was an interesting, clever bit. Malfoy and the others come by and try to burn them with a dragon, and they escape by riding a dragon. Actually, no, not a dragon. They just create fire, and then they escape by riding a dragon, which was cool. That was pretty cool. Fun little scene. Actually, yeah. Now I'm trying to remember, was that this one or another one? Fuck, now I'm trying to remember which one that was. Sorry, I saw these a few days ago, so I'm doing my best. I forget which one it was. For some reason I keep thinking it was this one. I do remember liking that scene. Alan Rickman is the new headmaster. The character Neville, he was a kid in the first movie that would keep screwing things up. And yet throughout, he did important stuff. Like, he's the guy who got Harry the plant so he could swim underwater and breathe. In this one, he leads them through this passageway to get back to Hogwarts. He's the one that kills the snake, which is the last trinket, so that Harry can defeat Voldemort. It's just weird that Neville became one of the more important characters. The actor didn't do a bad job. It's just I didn't think he was that dynamic of a character for him to be of such importance. But you know, the more I think about it, okay, that made it interesting and not predictable. I give credit to that. And yeah, I mean, the characters definitely have a lot more to do here compared to Deathly Hallows Part 1. Yeah, they get the cup and they destroy it, and then Ron and Hermione kiss, or they stab this tiara, which is another trinket, which is some of them that house parts of Voldemort's soul, and Ron Weasley gets to do something, kicks into the fire to destroy it, the fire that was chasing them. Voldemort kills Alan Rickman's character. You learn more about Alan Rickman's character. You realize he was much more of an interesting character because he loved Harry's mom, but then Harry's mom chose what would be Harry's dad, and he wanted to, it did feel like an exposition dump, but it was still interesting to learn more about Alan Rickman's character. How Dumbledore asked him to kill him and Half-Blood Prince for various reasons. And he was working in secret with Dumbledore, so even though everyone thought he was a bad guy in this, he was actually trying to do the right thing. I do wish there was one last moment between Harry and Alan Rickman. I mean, he's there when he dies, It's like, you get this, the tears, because then you can use that to look at memories. But then later on, there's a moment where he sees the ghosts of his mom and Gary Oldman. I do think Alan Rickman should have been there. They have one final conversation between the two. Because for most of the films, they've been such... Not sex, that's a different movie. But so antagonistic towards each other. They have one final moment where they kind of understand each other more. Because then they give Harry that moment with Gary Oldman and his mom, but I just thought to not have a moment between him and Alan Rickman. Maybe I was saying that because I miss Alan Rickman. I like him as an actor from Die Hard, Quigley Down Under, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Dogma, and I miss the guy. I would like to have seen that. Harry gives himself up and lets himself die so that the part of Voldemort in him will die, but then he comes back because he has a one-up. Not really, but that's what it is, a one-up, a resurrection thing. So I'm like, is this the only resurrection stone? If that's the case, couldn't any of these other people use resurrection stones, like Gary Oldman or Hobby the elf, or house elf, Dobby the house of what? I guess not. Maybe there's only one and one only resurrection stone. So I'm dead, but not really, bitch. There's a lot of battles, but at the same time, I can't remember a lot of details. Even for me, I think it went on so long, it kind of got all blended together. So I can't remember Ron Weasley hit people, or I think Hermione hit a couple. And then Harry has the final confrontation with Voldemort. It was a little bit disappointing because he shoots. It doesn't seem like he even hits Voldemort. It seems like it just hits the wand, unless I miss something. It just seemed like it hit the wand and then he disintegrates. I guess I was waiting for him to get like a fucking heat blast and then be fucking evaporated. Like, I guess I wish there was a bit more oomph to it. Like, it hits Voldemort, he's shaking and screaming, and the power wand, whatever the fuck, the power glove, whatever the fuck, overtakes him, and I don't know, just a little bit more oomph to it. I don't know how to put it. But it all ends well. Our three characters, things are fine. It jumps to like 19 years later and shows that they're adults now and they have kids. I didn't mention much. I never mentioned much between Harry Potter and this girl Ginny, which is Ron Weasley's sister. Just to be honest, the Ginny character didn't really stand out too much for me. The early films, she's kind of in the background. Then she likes him a little bit and they kiss. But that romance thing never really grew much to anything. At least to me. It's like, oh, okay, now all of a sudden they're in love. Oh, all of a sudden they're an item. Okay, now, that many years later, they have a kid together. That's kind of my reaction. I can't tell you any moments of the romance between him and the Ginny character. I'm like, oh, wow. I can't. So, I know it seems like I'm lukewarm on the movie. Maybe in some aspects I am. Maybe there's that part of me that's like, oh, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that Harry Potter's over. But not a bad film, not a bad finale. Again, some of the battles kind of blended in for me. Certain moments that I would have changed, like I would have had someone else take out Helena Bonham Carter's character. Like, honestly, I would have maybe, if not Harry Potter, Neville. Because Neville talked about how Helena Bonham Carter's character killed his parents. So Neville do that, and I would have Ron Weasley kill the snake. Like, maybe be, since they brought up the whole thing where he has negative feelings from the trinket in part 1, have be like Ron Weasley, he's being affected by a trinket again, because the trinket is the snake this time. He doesn't have negative feelings. You think he's going to attack Harry Potter, but he fights it, gets the snake, and then Harry Potter fucks up Voldemort. The 1-2 punch. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have preferred. So Ron Weasley really gets a definitive moment. Learns from the first movie, which would the previous movie, the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and then have that scene be worth something. Like he had negative feelings, which affected him. Now he's overcome that because he thinks of his friendship with Harry and Hermione, and his love for Hermione and all this. And again, there's certain moments I would have changed story-wise, plot-wise. That's just me. But, you know, was it a downbeat ending? The actors do their jobs well. Like I said, it was interesting to see these kids grow up, because there was a span of 10 years from 2001, the first movie, to 2011, this movie. So it was interesting to see these characters grow up, physically, voice-wise. I thought all 3 actors did a good job. Like I said, Alan Rickman, his character got a bit more depth. Granted, it felt like a bit exposition dump, but still. There's definitely more stuff happening compared to, say, Deathly Hallows Part 1. The Deathly Hallows themselves, the only one that really meant was the wand. The other 2 seem like, But it's called Deathly Hallows. That's part of a, Well, what about the other 2? Oh, okay. But yeah, I didn't mind it for what it was. But the fact I'm saying I didn't mind it and I don't love it, it just shows that as a franchise, I didn't mind it. I keep repeating the actors because I think they were the best parts. I think the 3 leads, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and the guy who played Ron Weasley, they did a good job. They carried the films, even the bad ones. And overall, they were definitely some of the better parts, and kept, well, 1, because of a request, so I kept watching, and 2, kept the movies going. I do think they were a big part of the success of these movies. I think if you had those 3 and they were poorly cast, might not even get into an 8th film. That's just me, though. I'm sure someone's going to ask for my ranking. From best to worst, I would say my favorite's the first one. Then I would say Order of the Phoenix. Then I would say Prisoner of Azkaban. Then I would say Goblet of Fire. Then I would say Deathly Hallows Part 2. Then I would say Chamber of Secrets, Deathly Hallows Part 1, and then Half-Blood Prince is the worst, most boring fucking one. Useless. To the point that movie didn't even need to fucking exist, in my opinion. Other than Dumbledore dies and Alan Rickman kills him. That's really all you need. 5 minutes. Again, that's just my opinion. Maybe it's different in the book, but the movie was boring as fuck. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.